The old man sat opposite me. His name was Mr. Harrison. His elder son Arthur sat beside him. They were clearly distressed. Mr. Harrison wrung his hands. Arthur stared at the floor. Their unspoken anxiety filled my office. It was a familiar tension, a problem they could not solve themselves. They had come to me, Sherlock Holmes. This was my domain. The puzzle was about to be presented. I waited patiently for them to begin their story. Mr. Harrison finally spoke. His voice was low. He was worried about his younger son. The son's name was Thomas. Thomas showed no interest in marriage. This was highly unusual in their family. Mr. Harrison feared something was amiss. He felt a deep unease. He needed answers desperately. He believed Thomas was hiding something significant. He hoped I could uncover the reason for this strange reluctance. He wanted the truth, no matter how difficult. Arthur then added his own concerns. He confirmed his father's fears. Thomas had become distant. He was very secretive lately. He avoided family gatherings. He offered vague excuses. This was not the Thomas they knew. Arthur felt his brother was troubled. He could see the worry in his father's eyes. He too wanted to understand Thomas's behavior. The family harmony was clearly disrupted by this mystery. They hoped I could restore some clarity. I listened intently to their words. I observed their expressions carefully. Their worry was genuine. It was not feigned. The father's concern was profound. The brother's confusion was evident. This was more than a simple case of a reluctant bachelor. There were deeper currents at play here. I accepted the case. The game, as they say, was afoot. I would find the reason for Thomas's secrecy. I assured them I would investigate thoroughly. My first step was to meet Thomas. I needed to assess him directly. An interview was essential. I wanted to observe his reactions. His body language would speak volumes. I arranged a meeting at a quiet cafe. A neutral ground often encourages candor, or it reveals attempts at deception more clearly. I prepared a few simple questions. The key was not just what he said, it was how he said it. I was looking for inconsistencies. Thomas arrived punctually. He appeared well-dressed, yet he seemed nervous. His eyes darted around the cafe. He avoided prolonged eye contact with me. When I asked about his views on marriage, he fidgeted. He offered vague, rehearsed-sounding answers. He claimed he was simply not ready. He said he needed more time. He insisted there was no specific reason. His explanations felt hollow. He was clearly uncomfortable with the topic. I noted the details. His expensive cologne, a scent not usually favored by a man indifferent to company. His carefully polished shoes. He mentioned being busy with personal projects. He did not elaborate on these projects. He kept his answers short and non-committal. He tried to steer the conversation to other topics. He asked about my work, a common deflection tactic. It told me he had something to conceal. He was building a wall. His performance was unconvincing. The story of a man simply not ready for marriage did not fit his demeanor. There was an undercurrent of anxiety. He was hiding something important. My instincts told me this. The surface story was too thin. It was a facade. I decided surveillance was the next logical step. I needed to see his actions. Words could be manipulated. Actions, however, often revealed the truth. The interview confirmed my suspicions. The surveillance of Thomas Harrison began the next day. I needed to be discreet. I observed his daily routine. I watched him go to work. I saw him at the gym. He returned home each evening. For the first few days, his pattern was predictable. It was almost boringly normal. I started to wonder. Perhaps the father's worry was misplaced. Perhaps Thomas was merely a private individual. But my gut feeling persisted. There was more to this. Then the pattern broke. It happened on Thursday evening. Thomas left his home late. This was unusual. He did not go to his usual places. He drove to a quieter, more secluded part of the city. I followed at a safe distance. He parked his car. He then entered a small, unassuming apartment building. It was not a luxurious place. It was the kind of place one might use for secrecy. He stayed inside for several hours that night. This was a significant deviation. I investigated the apartment building the next day. I made some inquiries. The apartment Thomas visited was rented. It was rented under a false name. This confirmed my suspicions of secrecy. Later that week, I observed him meeting someone there. It was a woman. She was careful to conceal her face. She wore a scarf and large sunglasses. The mystery was deepening. Who was this woman? Why the secrecy? I continued my watch on the apartment. I needed to identify this mystery woman. It was crucial to understanding Thomas's behavior. The secrecy surrounding their meetings was intense. This was not a casual acquaintance. This had all the hallmarks of a hidden affair. But with whom? And why was Thomas so determined to hide it from his family? The next step was clear. I needed to see her face. The truth was close. My patience was rewarded. A few days later, I had my chance. The woman stepped onto the apartment balcony. She thought she was unobserved. For a moment, her face was clear. I captured a photograph. The image was sharp. There was no mistake. I examined the photograph closely. The identity of the woman was a shock. It was Eleanor Harrison, Arthur's wife, Thomas's sister-in-law. The secret was a devastating family betrayal. I prepared my report. This was a delicate matter. The truth would be painful. I arranged a meeting. Mr. Harrison and Arthur arrived at my office. Their faces were etched with anticipation. I presented my findings. I showed them the photographs. The evidence was undeniable. Thomas and Eleanor, together, secretly. Arthur's reaction was immediate. He became visibly angry. He denied it vehemently. He shouted that it was impossible. He accused me of fabrication. Mr. Harrison, however, remained calm. He looked steadily at Arthur. His gaze was heavy with unspoken knowledge. Under the weight of the evidence and his father's unwavering stare, Arthur's anger crumbled. His shoulders slumped. He confessed. He admitted he knew Eleanor was unhappy in their marriage. He knew she had sought comfort elsewhere. He had not known it was with his own brother Thomas. The pain in his voice was raw. Then, Mr. Harrison spoke. His voice was quiet but firm. He said he had suspected this all along. He knew something was deeply wrong. He had seen the signs, but he needed proof. He needed certainty before confronting his family. He thanked me for uncovering the truth. It was a bitter truth, he acknowledged. But it was the truth nonetheless. The case was closed. The family now faced a difficult path. But the deception was finally over.